Good afternoon and welcome to this edition of DMS 3000 News. It's episode 105 on this Wednesday afternoon, January 17th, 2024. And I'm your host with the most, your gracious host, as they say here, Jason DeCanio, and welcoming you to another program. It's midweek here on the David 3000 Network. Hope that you are having a fantastic day, surviving the cold weather up there in the northern part of the world, of the United States. I know down here for a fact that it was 44 degrees this morning. What a cold snap. And tonight's going to be down to 39, maybe even 30. And in some areas, depending on where you live, it could be into the 20s in Florida. So, I mean, we do get our share of cold weather around here. And it is one of those things that just happens to, so I don't really know the situation as far as where you are, but I hope you will stay warm tonight and be able to, sleep well under the covers and enjoy a lot of great shows. We have some fantastic shows tonight. In fact, at 7:30, we're going to be with the guys talking football from 7:30 to 8:30. And then me and the Tier Masters tonight will be here for Wipe Those Tears at 9 o'clock. I have a special guest that's filling in for one of my Tier Masters who's a little under the weather. You'll see what I mean. It'll be a great surprise for a lot of you. You know him from the Discord channel as a contestant on some of our game shows. So in this case, yes, we will definitely be able to have some coverage for that. While we're on the subject of coverage and everything, we will talk about our articles for today. The first one is the one that I didn't get to yesterday, and because I ran out of time because one of the articles was too long. So we're going to look at Anna Sachs, who is the trash walker. She finds treasures in New York City's garbage piles and dumps, and she's found some pretty interesting things according to the article that was written about her. So we'll look at that first up. And then I tested the cold water pasta hack, and here's what I found out. Yeah, we know when you cook pasta and everything, you're supposed to cook it in boiling water for that matter. And then, of course, you can also do the cold water thing where you stop the cooking process, shocking the pasta and letting it just, putting in the cold water for just a quick minute, a quick couple of seconds to stop the cooking process. But there's another way of doing this, and I guess there's a hack that works just as well. And for all you people who are on dating sites, and what is ghosting and why is it so rude? Well, we're going to give you the lowdown of that. And if you're one of those people that loves to do that on dating apps or just social media sites and just wreak havoc on everybody, I tell you, you may not want to listen to what the experts say about it for what it's worth. Okay. And of course, we have our headlines, sports, and other important information. What day is today? And of course, the motivation of the day as well. We put up our ticker as well to tell you that today is, of course, Hump Day. It's January 17th, 2024. Want to talk football? Well, check out the new episodes of Let's Talk Football weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on the David 3000 Network right here. Okay? And we'll get you all of the week's highlights, scores, news updates, and everything in the book, especially the first round of the playoffs that just completed this past weekend. And then, like I said, at 9 o'clock, Wipe Those Tears will be on at 9 o'clock with the Tier Masters and myself. We'll be talking about NES games tonight with the letter F. We've already done A through E, so if you want to see A through E, you'd have to go back in our archives, I think from episode 6 or 7, and look at those and then follow us up if you haven't caught up yet, because we'll be looking at the F games tonight. It sounds like one of those things that I just dropped the F bomb, so there's the F games. Yeah, no, that's more or less, give or take. So with that, join us at 9 o'clock tonight for the 17th episode of Wipe Those Tears. Okay? Now, let's go ahead again and start off with our headline, sports, and other important information from NPR.com. As you know, all of the highlights of today's January 17th headlines are today from NPR.com. Several fans treated for hypothermia at the fourth coldest game in NFL history, as dozens of people were treated for hypothermia or frostbite at Saturday's wildcard game between the Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins. I bet you it was even colder in Buffalo for that matter. Yeah. Demolition begins at site of deadly Pittsburgh synagogue attack. Yes, demolition got underway at the site of the deadliest anti-Semitic attack in U.S. history as part of the effort to reimagine the building to honor the 11 people who were killed there in 2018. Oh, boy. Maine court puts decision barring Trump from the state's primary ballot on hold. The Maine Superior Court has sent back the Secretary of State's decision to remove Donald Trump from the presidential primary ballot. The court says it's waiting on the U.S. Supreme Court to weigh in. That's right. You better wait before you do anything else, because once the Supreme Court makes its ruling and it's in Donald Trump's favor that he could be put back on the ballot, there's nothing you can do after that, you lower courts. So you're just going to have to grin and bear it if he's back on the, the ballot. How social media algorithms flatten our culture by making decisions for us. Filter World author Kyle Chayaka examines the algorithms that dictate what we watch, read, and listen to. He argues that machine-guided curation makes us docile consumers. Well, I have something to add to that. You don't have to go with what the machine recommends you to watch or read. You make your own choices. You make your own decisions. Even if you could be on social media and not have to be a control freak, or for that matter, a control freaky, whatever the case. You decide what you want to do on social media, but do it in a right and legal way, of course, please, for that matter. And of course, stay safe on social media. With contempt charge on hold, Hunter Biden and House Republicans negotiate testimony. House Republicans are negotiating with attorneys for Hunter Biden to arrange for him to testify before a House committee. U.S. judge blocks JetBlue's acquisition of Spirit, saying deal would hurt consumers. JetBlue, the nation's sixth largest airline, sought to buy Spirit for $3.8 billion. The judge said the consumers that rely on Spirit's unique low-price model would likely be harmed. Lawmakers call for IRS scrutiny of Trump-backed nonprofit that aids January 6th rioters. A nonprofit that supports defendants charged in the January 6, 2021 insurrection is facing scrutiny over its political activity. The IRS should investigate this case immediately, said one congressman. Prince of Wales has abdominal surgery. King Charles to undergo prostate procedure. Soon after news of Kate's hospitalization was released, Buckingham Palace revealed that King Charles III would undergo a corrective procedure next week for an enlarged prostate. Kenneth Smith could be the first person executed with nitrogen gas, and he spoke with NPR. Smith rarely speaks with reporters about surviving a lethal injection execution in 2022, but he talked with NPR about Alabama's plans to try again, this time with a new method, nitrogen gas. U.S. strikes Houthis again, improving your mental health in 2024. The U.S. Navy carried out a third round of strikes against Houthi militants in Yemen, and the Life Kit has practical advice for improving your mental health in 2024. Affluent Chinese have been moving to Japan since the COVID lockdowns. Middle and upper class Chinese are joining a migration wave to Japan. And amid security, Boeing promises more quality checks, but is it enough? The aircraft maker is under renewed pressure to strengthen quality management across its production lines, but critics say a fundamental cultural shift is needed. The self-proclaimed bipolar general is waging war on the stigma of mental illness. Yes, Major General Greg Martin led troops in Iraq while a second battlefront opened inside his own mind. Now retired, he's fighting to break down the military taboo on getting help. Could lab-grown rhino horns stop poaching? Why, we may never know. When a group of startups set out to solve an age-old problem with new technology, they met unexpected resistance from conservationists who saw the idea as misguided at best and dangerous at worst. Bobby's oldest ever dog title is in question as Guinness World Record investigates. The Portuguese pooch was said to be 31 years when he died last October, far outlasting dogs of the same breed, which often live half that age. Now experts have doubts about the validity of those claims. Tobacco use is going down globally, but not as much as hoped, the World Health Organization says. In 2022, there were about 1.25 billion tobacco users aged 15 and older, down from 1.36 billion in 2000. But countries around the world had set a bigger goal. Case brought to the Supreme Court by herring fishermen may gut federal rulemaking power. The court is considering whether to scrap nearly 40 years of precedent in a case that could weaken federal agencies' power to regulate everything from the environmental to guns. And what to know about January's annual drug price hikes? Well, there are some decreases this year too, but there's an overview of the changing prices and what to make of them. And next up, New Hampshire, where the race for the GOP nomination stands after Iowa. The lead that polls predicted former President Donald Trump would have in this Republican primary season has only expanded through his campaign. Italy's regulations on charities keep migrant rescue ships from the Mediterranean. The Ocean Viking has been impounded as Italy targets charity groups that operate vessels in the Mediterranean Sea looking for migrants and refugees in distress. And finally, Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley, oldest member of the Senate, hospitalized with an infection. 90-year-old Grassley will return to work as soon as possible following doctor's orders, his office said in a statement. The statement did not give any additional details about his condition. And there you have it, friends. Today's headlines for January 17th, 2024 on this Wednesday afternoon. All right, it's time now for the NBA. Let's give you the scores. And it's on there. Oh, I got an itchy nose. There she is. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the scores. Get it all up there from yesterday. Let's see. The 76ers beat the Nuggets 126-121. It was the Suns over the Kings 119-117. Thunder over the Clippers. Actually, I'm sorry. The Clippers over the Thunder 128-117. And today's games have the Timberwolves and the Pistons at 7 o'clock. Magic at the Hawks at 7:30 in Atlanta. Spurs and the Celtics at 7:30. The Rockets at the Knicks in the Garden at 7:30 tonight. The Bucks and the Cavaliers at 7:30. And the Heat and the Raptors at 7:30. Hornets at the Pelicans at 8 o'clock. Mavericks at Lakers at 8:30. And the Warriors and the Jazz, well, that time is to be determined. And at 10 o'clock tonight, the Nets will tip off with the Trailblazers in Portland. Okay, let's go to the NHL. See what's going on with the games there. Oh, I don't want that. I want the NHL. That's all I want. Thank you. All right, let's take a look and see what we have here. Okay, the Capitals shut out the Ducks 2-0 last night. It was the Senators losing to the Avalanche 7-4. Kraken lose to the Rangers 5-2. It was the Stars over the Kings 5-1. Jets 4, Islanders 2. The Blackhawks beat the Sharks in a shootout 2-1. It was the Maple Leafs over the Oilers. No, I'm sorry, the Oilers over the Maple Leafs 4-2. And the Flames beat the Coyotes in overtime 3-2. All right, tonight's games have the Red Wings facing off with the Panthers at 7 o'clock, Devils and the Canadiens in New Jersey, and the Blackhawks will take on the Sabres. That was postponed and to be determined when they'll make up that game. Maybe there's just a lot of snow in Buffalo tonight, and they figure they can't get anybody up for the games, just like they did over the weekend. There you have it, friends, with the scores and the upcoming games for tonight. Well, some other important information to pass on to you as well. I have noticed that if you have not filled out your David 3000 Awards link, we hope that you'll get that in by the deadline by next Tuesday, because when Benjamin comes on, that will officially end all of the nominations and the voting. So I'm up for one of the hosting nominations. I'm also up for an announcing a nomination. and also I also have nominations for this show, Wipe Those Tears, and of course the Dugout Crew, Let's Talk Football. I also found out that even though I am host of the DMS 3000 News show, I can vote for it because it's actually for the show and not the host. But you cannot vote individual. I can't vote for myself, unfortunately. You would have to vote for me, and I would have to vote for you if that was the case. So in this situation, I ask you for the vote, not only as a host, but for the DMS 3000 News Live, or Wipe Those Tears, or one of the other two shows that I mentioned as well. I'll keep promoting these shows that well, hopefully you'll vote for. If you don't have the link for all of these categories, I'll resend you that link if I think so, because I think everybody who was part of the network or was viewing in some way, so had a say in it, will be able to vote on that as well. So in this case, like I said, promotion is the only way, word of mouth is the only way, and just like you do, vote for me and, of course, for DMS 3000 News or Wipe Those Tears, whichever one you think might be better. I know we're still fairly young on this show. We're still fairly young on Wipe Those Tears. Whatever the case, I ask you for your vote. Thank you again for your continued support here on the David 3000 Network. All right. When we come back, we're going to take a break. It's 4:18. We're going to look at what day is today. And, of course, the first article, the trash walker, Anna Sachs. She finds treasure in New York City's garbage all over the place. We'll find out about how she does it with all of whatever she has to figure out there and go through and sort. And, well, you know what they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. We'll be back with more DMS 3000 News right after this.
From the leading manufacturer of video game hits comes the #1 video game system, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
When you get hold of the Nintendo Entertainment System, when you master Rob, the video robot, and meet the challenge of Gyromite, when you shoot the light-sensing zapper, when you play the system with the most arcade hits, you're playing with power. The Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
This is Speak and Spell. It teaches kids to spell.
This is Coleco's Talking Teacher. It also teaches kids to spell.
This one's been around for a long time, and it speaks.
Try again.
Talking Teacher speaks too, and so clearly.
The first letter of yes.
Talking Teacher also helps your child learn math.
Math?
Yes, math and spelling, all at a surprisingly low price.
When you make a better learning toy, it speaks for itself. Talking Teacher.
Excellent.
For the holidays, we always go to Grandma's.
They never leave.
She's got this special way she prepares food. What's that special thing you do, Grandma?
I cook it.
The holidays.
This season, I'm eating out. Batter fried shrimp at Long John Silver's, plump golden brown, and I don't have to cook. Now that's a holiday treat.
Gee, Grandma, you're not serious about not cooking, are you?
Long John Silver's.
Watch me.
Sounds good to me.
This car is a piece of junk. It's a bluesmobile. No, I mean it's falling apart. The cigarette lighter doesn't even work. We need a new car.
Well, where are we gonna get a new one?
No problem. We'll stop by Riverside Chevrolet's new location on Elwood Avenue.
This place has got everything. Look at this. They've got the versatile Chevy Astro van starting at just $93.89. Look here, a loaded 1987 Camaro Sport Coupe, just $99.95.
The new location's easy to get to.
Just take the Elwood Avenue exit at I-44 across from the Arkansas River.
I get down in my stance and look the cornerback straight in the eyes. He gives me this 30 look. I laugh. I get him off. He gives me a forearm, but I give him a fake and leave him in the dust. The 30, the 20, the QB lets it go. Beautiful spiral. The crowd's going nuts. The girls are screaming my name. Billy, Billy. I go up for it. It's dropping into my hands. And then I notice it's not a Nerf. Forget it. I quit.
There's only one Nerf.
What's it like to play the Nintendo Entertainment System? Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power. Now, Hordak reveals the most gruesome trap ever. The Horde Slime Pit.
The what?
The Slime Pit.
Now, Spikeler, you're my slave, not the slime. Yes, my slime will overpower you. I've been slime. No one escapes the evil Horde Slime Pit. Yes.
The Evil Horde Slime Pit from the Masters of the Universe. You put it together. Action figures each sold separately from Mattel.
Well, it's National Hotheads Chili Day today. For all you hot and spicy lovers of chili peppers out there, we got a hot one for you today. Yes. Chili lovers celebrate National Hotheads Chili Day on today every year. And on this day, chili heads, heat seekers, and extreme eaters try out the spiciest chilies. National Hotheads Chili Day is celebrated with habanero eating challenges, fancy dress contests, and cook-offs of popular recipes. Chilies are also made to take the official Scoville heat scale. This doesn't mean that you have to be a daredevil to celebrate the day. Anyone who likes their meal a little hot can celebrate the day. Spices and chilies add a distinct flavor to the dish. Thai, Indian, Creole, and Caribbean dishes are famous for their heat content and boast of some excellent gastronomic experiences. We don't quite know how National Hotheads Chili Day came to be, but it's safe to say that one fine day, all the chili lovers got together and decided to celebrate hot and spicy food. This makes sense given how humans have always had a knack for chilies in their food. The first recipes for spicy foods go back to 6,000 years, and this means that humans haven't been enjoying spicy food for quite some time. And while the foods that we enjoy today may have changed and recipes altered, we still love spicy food. Unlike other animals, humans prefer spicy food simply because it tastes so incredible, and on a plus side, spices also offer several health benefits. Spices such as turmeric and cumin that have powerful antimicrobial and antioxidant properties can kill bacteria outright. Studies show that the capsaicin in hot peppers can reduce inflammation and decrease the chances of heart disease. It can also aid in weight loss. In Ayurvedic medicine, if I pronounced that right, the inflammatory properties of chilies have brought relief from many different conditions, such as headaches, autoimmune disorders, and arthritis. And spicy foods can also help fasten your metabolism. The studies also show that certain spices like pepper chilies, turmeric, cinnamon, and cumin can curb your appetite and improve your metabolic resting rate. Who knew chilies could be so versatile? Here's the National Hotheads Chili Day timeline. In 3500 BC, chilies are grown and cultivated for the first time. Then in 1498, they arrive in India. Vasco da Gama reaches Indian shores and introduces India to the chilies. And then in 1912, Scoville organoleptic test. Wilbur L. Scoville finds a new method to measure the pungency of chilies. So that's how we get the Scoville scale. And then in 1975, Larry Levine opens the first Chili's in Dallas. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. Yeah, that Chili's. National Hotheads Chili Day activities. You're going to host a dinner party. Chilies are regularly used in Indian, Chinese, and Thai cooking. Host a dinner party and serve these cuisines to friends and family. And of course, if you're Mexican, if you're not Mexican, if you're Texan, you will eat American chili and make it as hot as you possibly want it. Did you know that actually chili is an American food? Yes, it was actually founded somewhere in the Texas areas like San Antonio and San Pablo and probably in the Dallas region and El Paso probably. It didn't migrate down to the Mexicans till later on. And Spanish people don't even have access to chili because peppers were not invented until the New World, until when Marco Polo decided to, come around with his spices and everything. So when the next time you eat chili, remember that it's not the meat. It's the chili pepper pod or the poblano chili that is what it is named after. Okay. Remember that. An interesting fact about chili. There's so many good recipes in chili. Oh, you can do it 4-way, 5-way, 75,000 way. I don't know. But however you take your chili, it's like you take your coffee, you know? If you take your coffee black, you take your chili hot and spicy, do it or whatever you want. Learn about different chilies from around the world. On this National Hotheads Chili Day, learn more about the different chilies that are available around the world. And there are so many different types, including Carolina Reapers, Ghost Peppers, Habanero, Red Cayenne, Serrano, Guajillo, Poblano, Peppadew, and much more. And then have a cook-off. Yes, invite your friends over and see who can create the best hot and spicy dish. Flavor your dishes with different types of chilies and find out which one is the hottest, or have that chili cook-off with some real meat and some spices. And, of course, if you like it with or without beans, there's a controversy going on between who likes it with beans and who likes it without beans. That'll be a survey done, and I wonder if that survey is as accurate as anything else in the book. Here's 5 facts about chilies that will blow your mind. You know, they help release feel-good endorphins and dopamine, which results in a sense of euphoria. So instead of eating them, the Japanese put them in their socks to keep their toes warm. Then who invented slippers? Huh? Right? And they contain large amounts of vitamin C, provitamin A, and beta-carotene. So I guess carrots are not the only thing that have beta-carotene, but so do chili peppers. And capsaicin may burn and irritate the flesh of mammals, but birds are completely immune to its effects. So if you were fearful that a cardinal bird would douse the chili pepper and explode, nah. They just think they would just appreciate you for the seeds, and you can go on your merry way and have the pepper. They'll have the seeds, you have the pepper, and all is happy at the end of the day. And the cayenne pepper can help stop bleeding. Yes. Used as a first aid remedy. Interesting. And why do we love National Hotheads Chili Day? Well, most of us love spicy foods, but it's not possible to savor them every day. So on National Hotheads Chili Day, they offer the perfect opportunity to indulge in your favorite spicy food. And if you don't have an adventurous palate, today is the best day to rectify that. Sample spicy foods from India, Thailand, the Philippines, and the Caribbean. And if you are an adventurous foodie, then National Hotheads Chili Day invites you to taste some of the hottest and steamiest chilies from the world over. Go on a gastronomic adventure today if your body and your stomach can handle it. And be ready to take lots of milk. So the next time we'll see National Hotheads Chili Day will be on Friday in 2025. This is the next time we'll see them. So we'll see them on Friday. Then we won't see it again until 2028 because we're never here on the weekends. All right. And there you have it, friends. What day is today on the national holiday? I hope you enjoyed that little taste of chili heaven. And, of course, the chili pepper for that matter. We're going to take another break. And when we come back, the trash walker is in the house. Anna Sachs. She finds treasure in New York City's garbage. And then the cold water pasta hack. Interesting. You know, I've been making pasta since I was a kid. In fact, we always used to boil our noodles. Now there's a cold water pasta hack. We'll find out how it's done when we come back right after this.
Thinkable, unthinkable. The unthinkable taste of Cheerios. Cheerios. Now the line of sugar to weigh down those. Cheerios. Look how they float, no keeping them down. So this can't, that can't, no you can't sing. The unthinkable taste of Cheerios. Now the line of sugar to weigh down those. Cheerios. The unthinkable taste of Cheerios.
Brought to you by Worlds of Wonder, the makers of Teddy Ruxpin, the world's first animated storytelling toy. Brought to you by the exciting world of Kenner. Happy holidays from the Kenner family to your family.
What's it like to play the Nintendo Entertainment System? entertainment system. Now you're playing with power.
Hi, my name is Teddy Ruxpin. I want you to meet my friend.
Teddy Ruxpin's friends are found only in the world of Teddy Ruxpin's storybook cassettes. I said in the storybook cassettes.
Bargain Furniture Warehouse, 8177 East 44th Street. No one can meet the savings. No one can beat the selection. True Bargain Furniture Warehouse, 1 block east of Memorial on 44th. Open Saturday and Sunday only. Open today from 8 until 6. 1 block east of Memorial on 44th. Fabulous name brand home furnishings. $1 million selection. Sale prices on every item. You can save 20, 30, up to 60% today.
This holiday season, get the lemon lime soft drink with real juice. Get Slice.
We got the juice, a burst of cheer. We got the taste for this time of year. We got the juice, we got the twist. We got what's fighting 7-Up and mist.
10% real juice.
We got the juice, it's going fast. Slice. We're stocking up to make it last. So nice. We got the juice.
Happy holidays.
Slice.
She's moving. It's Magic Moves Barbie. We girls love the spotlight. Right, Barbie? Magic Moves Barbie. Little gown with sparkle and shine. We turn and pose. Divine. Then move around that fabulous store. Everywhere we move, we steal the show. We girls can do anything. Right, Barbie? Magic Moves Barbie doll comes with this 3-piece outfit and change around stole. New from Mattel.
I know the perfect way to get fruity tricks. Better hop to it. This is my best disguise ever.
Ah, Bunny.
But this bunny loves tricks. A fruity part of this complete breakfast.
I wonder what he wants.
I want the great taste of orangey oranges, lemony lemons, grapey grapes, all in tricks. Yippee!
Something's up. Silly rabbit, tricks are for kids.
Animal haters.
All right, this New York City's trash is this woman's treasure, and she's using her platform to fight our culture of excess waste. Yes, Anna Sachs from New York City, well, she is doing her part to find some of the best treasures in New York City. And, of course, the article was written by Charlotte Hilton Anderson back in 2022. So who knows what Anna Sachs is doing these days, but I hope she's still alive and well working her way to an investment bank in New York City. So she was working at an investment bank in New York City in the mid-2010s. Anna Sachs was living the life, just not the life she wanted. Sure, she was happy, but she wanted to do something that felt important and was fulfilling on a deeper level. Some people seeking meaning might read a self-help book, try a little recycling or upcycling, or perhaps volunteer a few hours a week. Sachs packed up her life and moved to Connecticut for 3 months to participate in ADMA, a Jewish farming program that focuses on sustainable living and growing sustainable food. When she returned to New York, it was with a new purpose and a variety of new skills to make her dreams a reality. One of the things that really stuck with me from ADMA, which means earth in Hebrew, was how little waste they produced and how they handled the waste they did have, primarily through composting, she says. And I just thought, why aren't we doing that here? I'd walk around my neighborhood and was shocked at how many bags of waste were piled up. I began to wonder, what is actually in all those bags and recycling bins on the curbs? Well, instead of getting stuck in a never-ending cycle of climate anxiety, she embarked on a mission that would make her one of the most influential climate change activists on social media today. The ADMA program opened Sachs's eyes to the damage consumer culture is doing on a local, national, and global level, and the need to find solutions. So in 2016, she took a master composting course and started working with a food rescue program. She found her calling in 2017. To quench her curiosity and to help her get food and household supplies, she began what she calls trash walking. During jaunts around her neighborhood, Sachs, who's 31 years of age, picks up garbage to look for reusable items. And soon her trash walks expanded to include corporate dumpsters along with residential trash. Surprisingly, she discovered a wide array of really great stuff like clothing, designer accessories, dinnerware, and food, all of which she documents on Instagram and TikTok. Well, under the name The Trash Walker, Sachs quickly gained popularity for her educational, funny, and surprising videos that highlight the problems with consumerism and share information about how to live a more sustainable lifestyle. The root issue is overproduction, which leads to overconsumption, which leads to an immense amount of waste, she says. Think for a moment about your overcrowded closet. Fast fashion makes it easy to buy the latest trends for cheap, but those clothes can end up in the trash even if you sell or donate them. It's a point Sachs makes in a TikTok video exposing a mountain of thrift store trash. In it, black trash bags filled with clothes crowd the sidewalk and hold the goods the store couldn't sell. It was very upsetting to see, but also not surprising. Says Sachs, her image superimposed over fat bags spilling clothing. We make too much clothing as a society. We need to produce less. The lesson from Sachs' trash walking isn't just what we need to produce less stuff. It's that we need to stop tossing perfectly good items in the trash, too. Dive through any retail store's garbage and you'll soon agree. I don't usually gasp or get shocked, but this is shocking, says Sachs in a 2021 TikTok video in which she unearths 16 unopened tissue boxes and 2 rolls of toilet paper from Dwayne Reed's garbage pile. In another video, she salvages 3 bags of Kit Kats from the drugstore. But waste is far from just a Dwayne Reed problem. She regularly finds bags of candy and unopened boxes of tampons outside other drugstores, flowers outside florist shops, and decorations outside party stores. One Party City Hall brought in about $3,000 worth of goods, most still in the packaging. And in one thrift store's trash, she found an unopened Pottery Barn kids blanket retailing for $60 and a box of floral dinnerware. There's also plenty of food waste from New York public schools. I think the new public school system can do a better job managing their inventory, she says while rifling through hundreds of bags of mini carrots, and so that this doesn't end up being wasted as it currently is. Well, the fact is, corporations and other organizations like public schools often choose to destroy or throw out items rather than give them away to people who might need them. A big reason for this waste is the way our current tax laws are structured, says Sachs. Retailers who destroy merchandise can claim the cost as a loss on their taxes and be refunded any tariffs. If they give away goods, they can claim only a small amount as a charitable deduction on their taxes. This gives companies a financial incentive to be wasteful instead of giving goods away. Employees' hands are often tied when it comes to disposal protocol. Employers are not allowed to take this home, and Sachs said while filming her discovery of the trashed tissue boxes from Dwayne Reed. That would be considered theft, and they'd be fired for doing so. And the same thing for donating. I mean, even if an employee wanted to donate they could be fired for theft for donating. Ideally, companies would donate the things they can't sell to free stores or directly to the needy instead of tossing items in the trash. Sachs also calls for bipartisan donate, do not dump legislation to stop corporations from kicking items to the curb. Corporations need to do better about reducing their waste, but voters also need to speak up and get their policies changed, she says. And while you're at it, make sure you're buying from sustainable brands rather than those contributing to the climate crisis. Sachs' videos have gone viral many times, causing shockwaves through the industries she calls out. Her most popular video of 2021 showed brand new luxury Coach handbags that had been slashed by employees before being trashed, a way of damaging out unwanted inventory to take advantage of the tax loophole, and perhaps as a way to keep the luxury brand exclusive. This despite the sustainability commitment on Coach's website. It says the company encourages fixing damaged bags and is part of the circular economy. The 56-second TikTok went live in October, and a week later, Coach announced changes to its policy, stating it would no longer destroy in-store returns. Saks discovered that it would, however, still destroy other unwanted inventory, like if they don't like the stitching or the color. In 2019, she called out CVS for throwing away a dumpster full of perfectly good medical supplies, including much-needed baby formula. She wrote the CEO suggesting CVS form local donation partnerships. In response, the company said it would look into the matter, and after another video of her CVS dumpster diving went viral, the company committed to switching away from plastic bags. Holding companies accountable for their promises, well, is another one of her goals. And in 2016, Starbucks made big news when it announced that it would donate all unsold food instead of throwing it out. By 2020, Saks' 2020 video showed that despite the corporation's promise, it was still throwing out tons of good food. In 2022, Starbucks recommitted, saying it would reduce total food loss and waste in its U.S. operations by 50% by 2030. She's also amplifying messages from other trash activists to get more results. In March of 2021, she shared a video from Jonathan Card, who found a live parrot in a Petco dumpster. A live parrot. Wow. The social media outrage was so immediate and intense that the company was forced to open a formal investigation. They say one's man's trash is another's treasure, and that couldn't be more true in Saks' case. Like an urban treasure hunter, she's uncovered some gems hiding in New York City's garbage bags. An antique Russell Wright Saturn punch bowl set. It is now part of the permanent collection of Cooper Hewitt Smithsonian Design Museum. A ball of expensive Tiffany necklaces. She and a friend spent hours untangling them. A beautiful urn full of ashes from a pet cat. It's a good thing I read the plaque on the bottom, or I might have opened it, she says. A green velvet opera jacket. She kept it and still wears it. A framed page of an actual medieval book. It now hangs in her home. A set of like-new rattan chairs and a coffee table. They're in her living room. A collection of toddler board books. She gifted them to her niece. The finest chocolates. She saves some to eat and gives others away. A set of vintage china. Fresh flowers. Stores throw these out a lot, she says. I almost always have fresh flowers in my home. New wool socks, holiday decorations and lights, and planters with plants still in them. And she says she does keep her best. She does her best to keep the plants thriving. Trash walking has given Anna Saks a nearly endless supply of clothing, food, appliances, dishes, glassware, flatware, books, picture frames, candles, and artwork. Some she keeps for herself, but at this point, her own home is pretty well stocked, so she focuses on distributing much of her hauls to others. First, she tries giving them informally to family, friends, or individuals she knows may need a specific item. And then she takes the remaining items to shelters or free stores so other New Yorkers can benefit from her treasure hunting. And sometimes she drops off shelf-stable goods at community fridges, which allow anyone to take food for free. What she won't do is give items to thrift stores. The retailers throw out a lot of donations, which she then picks through. Saks' main focus is simply getting people to pay attention to how many unnecessary things they buy and then throw away. Once you become conscious of the way you consume, you can see ways you can improve, she says. And here are some of her suggestions for wasting less food and other goods. Compost your food scraps. Learn how to grow food sustainably at home. Repair your items instead of buying new ones immediately. Store and reuse seasonal items. Purchase secondhand goods. Participate in swap or free groups in your area. Donate nice but unwanted items. Recycle. And just make sure you know how to recycle the right way. Too many people throw anything and everything into the recycle bin, which makes their whole bag unusable. Do your own trash walks. The concept is simple. Walk around your area and look in dumpsters or through garbage, then rescue usable items. exercise, and free stuff. What's not to love? If you want to try it, Saks offers these tips. Carry reusable tote bags or reusable grocery bags with you all the time. You never know when you'll come across a treasure in someone else's trash. Wear puncture-proof gloves when going through the garbage. Don't open locked containers or trash areas. If you open a bag, you have to make sure it's closed and secured when you're done. Leave the area cleaner than you found it, and look for prepackaged foods, and steer clear of things that need refrigeration. If you love trash walking but can't spare the space in your home, offer items to loved ones, donate them to free stores and shelters, or post items in local free cycling or trading social media groups to exchange with others. She's the recycling activist, and Charlotte Hilton Anderson is a health, lifestyle, and fitness expert and teacher. She covers all things wellness for Reader's Digest and The Healthy, with dual master's degrees in information technology and education. She has been a journalist for 17 years and is the author of The Great Fitness Experiment. She lives in Denver with her husband, 5 kids, and 3 pets. Thank you, Charlotte Hilton Anderson, for a great article that has to do with recycling. Oh, my goodness. I tell you, in this case, and she's probably now, let's see, that article came out 2 years ago. She's probably 33 and still kicking and doing things of this. I wish they would write a follow-up article to see what she's doing in 2024 to make us even more aware of this. Very nice. Great stuff there. Up next, when we come back after the break, the cold water pasta hack. Here's what we're going to find out about how to cook your pasta in cold water to get that fresh al dente taste. And for all you people who are on dating apps or social medias or even apps where you're paying monthly membership, here's the thing about ghosting and why it is so rude. You won't want to miss this article because it's going to give every troll out there a piece of their a piece of you-know-what when we come back on DMS 3000 News Live right after this.
Jacques, you'll ride shotgun in Volcano here.
It sure lives up to its name, Matt.
Tracker here. Assemble mask. Venom has struck again.
Try and stop me, Tracker. Convert outlaw.
Vehicles each sold separately with 2 figures. Batteries not included.
Okay, Volcano, do your stuff. Fire!
Mask,
Wow!
where illusion is the ultimate weapon. Mask, Volcano, and Outlaw. Each sold separately. New from Kenner.
Everybody's got a little smile inside. Sneaks out every once in a while. Like when you're eating a Rolo, it's too hard to hide. 'Cause Rolo is a whole roll of smiles.
Chewy caramel, rich milk chocolate. Rolo is a whole roll of smiles.
'Cause Rolo is a whole roll of smiles. Rolo is a whole roll of smiles.
The big question about new nerd cereal is, which side are you gonna keep first?
Orange flavor on this side.
Orange!
Cherry flavor on this side.
Cherry!
So?
Which side are you gonna keep first?
They're both so delicious, I can't decide.
New nerd cereal is the fruity good part of your complete breakfast.
Which side are you gonna eat
Which side are you gonna keep first?
Also available in grape and strawberry. Nerds.
Here comes Marcy. I want you to meet her.
Introducing the new Cabbage Patch Babies, the littlest Cabbage Patch Kids of all. With special clothes and blankets.
Smells like baby powder.
You can pose them like little babies, and they're soft and cuddly like little babies.
Goodness, it's past your nap time.
Cabbage Patch Kids Babies with everything shown here, each sold separately from Coleco.
We will return after these messages.
The big question about new nerd cereal is, which side are you gonna keep first?
Orange flavor on this side.
Orange!
Cherry flavor on this side.
Cherry!
So?
Which side are you gonna keep first?
They're both so delicious, I can't decide.
New nerd cereal is the fruity good part of your complete breakfast.
Which side are you gonna eat
Which
first?
side are you gonna eat first?
Also available in grape and strawberry. Nerds.
little guys. Hamburger, soft drink, and fries. All regular size. I'll make a note of that.
What do you put in your McDonald's Halloween pumpkins?
Boopty and McBoo, matey. Carrots and McGoblin. Golden McPumpkin, partner.
Now you can collect one of 3 different pumpkins with the purchase of every McDonald's Halloween Pumpkin Happy Meal. What you put in them is up to you.
We'll return after these messages.
Oh, my best friend and an Oreo cookie. She loves the crunchy chocolate. I like the creamy middle. Been eating them this way since we were very little. We'll always be friends with Oreo. Friends are better when you pair them. Oreos are better when you share them.
Oreo cookies. Share them.
Nabisco.
Well, does the cold water pasta hack really save water and time? Well, Kirsten Hickman for Taste of Home is going to test this theory to find out. Well, she says she hates cooking pasta. Don't get me wrong, I love eating pasta, but having to wait for water to boil and then cooking pasta and hoping to get that perfect al dente consistency, let's just say I have yet to master the art of perfectly cooking pasta at home. Thankfully, the internet is full of nifty hacks, and of course, there's a hack for cooking pasta. The cold water pasta method. What makes this particular hack so special? Well, experts like Alton Brown, from Good Eats, of course, claims that using the cold water pasta hack will cut your time in half, as well as reduce the amount of water you use. Think about it. How many times have you filled up your pot more than halfway with water, only to drain so much of it later? And does pasta really need that much water to cook? According to the cold water pasta hack, the answer is no. Of course, I had to test the method myself. Well, this method has you start your pasta in cold water and then cook it to perfection. Using guidelines from America's Test Kitchen for the cold water pasta hack, here's how I tested this method. You add 8 to 16 ounces of pasta to a 12-inch skillet, along with 1 to 1 tablespoons of salt and 1 quart of cold water. You turn the burner on medium-high heat and wait for it to start steaming. This should take about 2 to 3 minutes. Once steaming, stir the pasta occasionally as the water temperature continues to rise, coming to a boil. Cooked to your desired doneness, continuing to stir occasionally. The entire process should take 13 to 15 minutes total. The process seemed too good to be true. 15 minutes is all you need and you'll have perfectly cooked pasta. I was skeptical, so of course I decided to give it a try. Well, does it work? The short answer is yes. The long answer is I decided to try the cold water pasta hack side by side with the typical method of boiling pasta in a pot to see if the claims to save time and water were valid. The cold water pasta hack cut my cook time nearly in half. Boiling water in a pot not only used double the amount of water, but it also took 22 minutes from start to finish. And while I do think the timing will depend on the pasta shapes you're cooking, for 8 ounces of spaghetti, it only took 13 minutes to reach a perfect al dente texture. I also found that the texture of the pasta was more satisfactory compared with the usual boiling water method. When I boil water and cook pasta, it's harder to gauge when the pasta is done. You have to keep testing it to make sure it's at the consistency you desire, and I never seem to get it right. Yet, for the cold water method, I found that when the water was significantly reduced at around 12 minutes, the pasta looked almost ready to drain. I gave it a quick taste test, and it was perfect. The concentrated salt to water ratio gave this pasta even more taste compared with the usual boiling water method. And yes, you should always add salt to your water to cook pasta. It helps give your pasta taste. With the specific measurements this hack calls for, I found the taste of the pasta from cold water was superior to the pasta in boiled water. Wow. Interesting. In conclusion, I'm a convert. Unless the recipe I'm cooking calls for a significant amount of pasta water, it helps with thickening sauces. I will absolutely be using the cold water pasta hack moving forward. No more making tragic pasta mistakes. The cold water hack saves water and time, and the pasta is cooked to perfection. Now it's time to decide which of these incredible pasta recipes to make. There you have it, friends. The cold water hack, a true success, taken from a fantastic author who gave us that hack from Alton Brown. Nicely done. And that takes us to the 5 o'clock mark. Right now, 1 hour down, half an hour to go left. And we're coming to the end of our program soon. As they say, with 30 minutes left on the show. One more article, and of course, our motivation of the day. And that article, one that's very important for all of you people who are on dating apps or social media platforms or in general. What is ghosting and why is it so rude? We'll give you that answer and why it's so rude when we come back with more of DMS 3000 News right after this.
Every package of Kellogg's Raisin Bran has 2 scoops of raisins.
I know that.
But do you know that 2 scoops are enough to give a plump, juicy raisin to each captain of the Queen's Guard, all the girls on the Cranston High Cougarettes, and Boy Scout Troop 12?
That's a lot.
There'd still be enough tasty Kellogg raisins for an entire symphony orchestra.
That's a crowd of raisins.
Now you can share or keep that great taste all to yourself. Kellogg's Raisin Bran, part of this complete breakfast.
There's a crowd of raisins in 2 scoops.
I've got to refuel myself.
Let's go to the Milky Way.
That'll hit the spot.
The fun's just starting. Quick will make it.
Delicious.
Quick really puts me in orbit.
Nestle Quick, the taste that gets you going.
You can get this free Legions of Power space capsule set by sending 1 UPC barcode from Nestle Quick. You can put it together. See specially marked packages for details while supplies last.
I'm Captain O.G. Readmore, a reading kind of cat. Read a book like me, you'll soon agree that reading is where it's at.
Here a ghost, there a ghost, everywhere some scary ghost.
It's showtime, folks.
Today, call for the real.
We'll return after these messages.
I love nuzzling up to you and Whistler. You're so fuzzy.
So soft, my little pony. My little pony, so fuzzy to touch.
I love the way you feel, my so soft pony. Paradise.
So soft,
Shady.
my little pony.
Wind Whistler.
Pony, so
Ribbon.
touch. So fuzzy
Lofty.
soft, you're gonna love.
Each sold separately. You're so soft. You can feel how fuzzily soft they are. Shady and other So Soft ponies sold separately from Hasbro.
Every package of Kellogg's Raisin Bran has 2 scoops of raisins.
I know that.
But do you know that 2 scoops are enough to give a plump, juicy raisin to each captain of the Queen's Guard, all the girls on the Cranston High Cougarettes, and Boy Scout Troop 12?
That's a lot.
There'd still be enough tasty Kellogg raisins for an entire symphony orchestra.
That's a crowd of raisins.
Now you can share or keep that great taste all to yourself. Kellogg's Raisin Bran, part of this complete breakfast.
There's a crowd of raisins in 2 scoops.
Done at last. Well, genius, how about some M&M's? Hi, kids. Wow.
Where M&M's chocolate candies go, there's bound to be some fun, you know. It's a bright and colorful wonderland. All the world loves M&M's. Pure milk chocolate joy for everyone.
M&M's chocolate candies. The milk chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hand.
See you later.
We'll return after these messages.
Constructs. You build. Constructs. Power.
Batteries not included.
Constructs. You build. Constructs. Control. Constructs. Action. Constructs.
Power Creations Constructs from Fisher-Price.
Constructs.
How
How'd you like to make friends with a very unusual rabbit?
How do you do?
Meet a crazy fox or a bungling bear. Introducing Uncle Remus, Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, and Brer Bear in the happiest, slappiest, dashingest, crashingest, singingest, flingingest Disney animated classic of all. This holiday season, Walt Disney's Song of the South is back on the big screen. Rated G. Now playing at a theater near you. Check your local newspaper.
Why is ghosting, and what is it, and why is it so rude? Well, simply stopping all communication with someone is poor etiquette, and here's how to avoid ghosting the people in your life and what to do if you've been ghosted. And I know I've been there too. Been there, done that. Best friends Sydney L. and Maria M., they're both 27 years of age, met in a church group and hung out or talked nearly every day for a year, sharing their innermost thoughts and feelings. And then one day, Marie says, Sydney just stopped replying to my calls and messages with no warning or explanation at all. She ghosted me. It's an all too familiar experience. But what is ghosting exactly? And more important, why is it so hurtful? Well, ghosting is the practice of ending all communication with someone without giving an explanation. And it can happen in any type of relationship, including between romantic partners, friends, co-workers, and family. And it's more common than you may think. In a 2019 YouGov survey, 1/3 of U.S. adults confessed to doing it in an interpersonal relationship, while a 2021 Indeed survey found that 77% of job seekers reported being ghosted by a potential employer, and 18% of applicants confessed to doing the ghosting. Ghosting may be an incredibly common practice, but that doesn't make it less rude or unkind, says Jeff Temple, PhD, licensed psychologist, professor, and relationship researcher at the University of Texas Medical Branch. It's one of the most hurtful things you can do to another person. In other words, ghosting isn't just Gen Z slang for ditching a relationship. It's also poor etiquette. Marie agrees. Left feeling confused and heartbroken, she tried to follow up several times with Sydney, even a year after the ghosting happened. I tried apologizing for anything I could have think of, but nothing worked. I haven't heard a word from her since, she explains. I've had to accept that I'll never know why she decided to end our friendship, and I can honestly say that the pain of losing that deep friendship hurt worse than any romantic breakup I've ever been through. Took me a long time to get over the pain of that. Well, sound familiar? Ghosting is just as gutting in a romance. You've used your best Tinder pickup lines and pulled together some truly epic romantic date ideas only to have the other person simply stop responding. To help you deal with and better understand this common occurrence, we asked experts to explain everything you need to know about ghosting. Read on to find out their top tips. So what does ghosting mean? Well, before you can really understand how ghosting might affect you, you need a grasp of the basics. So what is it? Well, ghosting is exactly what it sounds like. It's silently disappearing from someone's life like a ghost, says Ramini Durvasula, who's a PhD, author, licensed clinical psychologist, professor of psychology at California State University, Los Angeles, and expert in toxic relationships. The person cuts off all communication without warning or explanation. It's not a new concept, though the word itself is relatively recent. It started appearing with this modern definition in the early 2000s, and Merriam-Webster added it to the dictionary in 2017. Though the term ghosted is so ubiquitous that it became the title of the Apple TV Plus movie, in which, of course, the leading man is ghosted by a woman he hooked up with, you may also encounter ghosting synonyms, including fadeaway and swerve. It's called an Irish exit if you choose to ghost and leave a party rather than saying goodbye. Ghosting is most common in dating, particularly dating online and through apps, but can also happen in any type of interpersonal or professional relationship, says Gabriela Reyes, who's an LMFT, licensed therapist in San Jose, California, and an expert in social media etiquette and relationships for the dating app Chispa. So why do people ghost? Well, people ghost others for many reasons. Temple says, concerned about hurting each other or hurting the other person, fear that they won't be able to handle their own feelings, a desire to avoid the consequences of the break or to move on quickly, embarrassment, or because it takes less time than talking. Occasionally, someone will even unintentionally ghost because they are forgetful, he adds. But the most common reason people go incommunicado is because it's easier than having a difficult conversation. Many people weren't taught what healthy adult communication looks like in relationships, so they default to the easiest way out, ghosting. Durvasula says, basically, they never learned the etiquette for discussing potentially painful subjects, or they don't know how to say no, so they just stop talking instead, she says. So what are the signs? Well, knowing what is ghosting and what is not can help you both make sense of the communication issues you're encountering and avoid disappearing on others. The telltale sign that you've been ghosted is that the other person becomes totally unresponsive to any type of communication, Reyes says. Here's what they may look like, or that may look like. Your texts are left on read or aren't opened at all. You can no longer see their social media profiles. You are blocked from messaging them on social media. They've disconnected from you on dating and or social apps. They don't answer your phone calls. They avoid you in person or find excuses to avoid places where you'll be. They ask mutual friends to not tell you about them, and they dodge invitations to meetups. Ghosting often happens out of the blue, but sometimes you may see signs of the other rude conversation habits, including a fadeaway before the total cessation of communication. Temple says, signs that someone is fading away may include they take days to respond to your text or calls. They bail on plans with you at the last minute. They talk about only vague or superficial things with you. They don't invite you out, text you, or otherwise initiate communication. And they employ breadcrumbing or give you just little bits of attention sporadically. And if you're cringing while reading this, that's because these things do hurt, even when coming from casual acquaintances or at work, Durvasula says. And we all have a very basic and beautiful need for human connection, and ghosting strikes at the core of that, she says. At best, being ghosted leaves you feeling confused, worried, and frustrated. At worst, it makes you question your self-worth, leaving you with a lot of unanswered questions that can make you feel bad for a long time. What should you do? Well, there isn't a lot you can do to fix things if you're the one being ghosted. After all, what is ghosting but a sudden end to a relationship without the opportunity to repair it? But our experts have some tips for dealing and healing. So, you can try 1 to 3 times to reach out and see if there was a miscommunication, but if they still don't reply, proper etiquette says you should respect their boundaries and unspoken desire for ceased communication. As painful and confusing as that may be, Temple says. Another common etiquette mistake Durvasula sees is the snubbed person using mutual friends or family as a go-between. It's tempting to ask a friend to talk to the ghoster to get some answers, but it rarely works out positively, she says. More likely, it will make the situation worse and put the middle person in an awkward position. And you shouldn't talk to your ghost or complain even politely to mutual connections, but you can and should vent about the problem to a good friend or family member who can provide support and remind you that you are loved no matter what, Temple says. Prioritize taking care of yourself physically and mentally, Reyes says. Unfortunately, ghosting is common, and if you've been ghosted after dedicating a lot of energy to someone, it can be very draining, she says. Take some extra time to rest and recover. Self-care could include spending more time on a hobby you love, focusing more on other relationships in your life, exercising, meditating, indulging in comfort foods or activities, or meeting new people. And being ghosted can make you wonder what you did wrong or doubt your relationship skills or sense of self. You likely won't get answers from the other person, but a therapist can help you navigate these issues in an introspective way, Durvasula says. A good therapist can help you find a sense of closure within yourself and move on in a healthy way. It's common to withdraw socially after being ghosted, but that only makes you feel more isolated and reinforces negative feelings. Well, don't let being ghosted stop you from trying to make or deepen connections with others, Reyes says. It may not have worked out with this one person, but you aren't broken, and you deserve positive relationships of all kinds. Focus on both nurturing existing relationships and forming new ones. So how can you avoid ghosting someone? Well, ghosting is an etiquette mistake at best and incredibly unkind at worst. You should avoid ghosting others if possible, Temple says. In the end, having a conversation generally works out better for both parties, even if it's tough. If you're tempted to fade away or ghost someone, start by putting yourself in their shoes and think about how you'd feel. A little empathy goes a long way, he says. Nervous about having a hard conversation? Practice it in advance with someone else or write it out to build your confidence and clarify your thoughts. This is a good time to consider your non-negotiables and the boundaries you'd like for the relationship. Dervasula adds, remember, boundaries are simple things you will or won't do, and they don't control another person's behavior. And then just do it. It's never going to feel easier, and waiting only prolongs the anxiety for you and them, Temple says. If you're someone who has difficulty remembering to respond to texts and messages, thereby inadvertently ghosting someone, set a time each day to go through your phone, looking for any missed calls or messages and responding to them. Better to get a daily notification reminder than practice poor texting etiquette. In a twist of irony, Maria admits to ghosting a few people herself on dating apps. If I go on a first date and it doesn't click, I just disconnect from them on the app, she says. We don't need to have a conversation about it. There are a few occasions, including when using dating apps, when ghosting may be an appropriate move, our experts say. For instance, if you encounter any relationship red flags, you might want to go into ghost mode. On most dating apps, ghosting people you've only communicated with briefly is accepted and even expected, as people are connecting with many potential dates at once, Reyes says. Any unsolicited sexts are another good reason to just cut off communication. But if you've gone on more than one date or had long personal conversations, give the person some closure with a goodbye message so they're not left hanging. Also, ghosting isn't necessarily bad business etiquette. It's so common in the job market because people are making many connections at the same time, and it isn't efficient to talk with everyone. Employers can't respond to every resume or application, and job seekers sometimes can't respond to every company that reaches out. But if you've had some back and forth communication and moved past the beginning stages of interviewing, it's a kindness to give the other party a quick, I won't be moving forward with this application at this time, thanks. This other situation in which ghosting isn't just appropriate, but may be necessary, is when you're ending a relationship and are worried that the other person will react in a violent or abusive way. Dervasula says, abusers will try to manipulate you through communication, so it's best to cut that off totally, she says. Put your safety first, and in the case of abuse, ghosting is often the best and safest option. And I'm going to add further that if you're dealing with a narcissist, you might want to just cut them off at the pass completely and don't bother wasting your time on it, because they will never change for no one. You have to do your changing and take responsibility for your actions. Relationships are complicated because people are complicated. Chances are you will find yourself in situations where one person wants to end the relationship, and in most situations, the polite and kind thing to do is practice good communication and avoid ghosting the other person. There you have it, friends. You can look at the experts, Jeff Temple, Romani Dervasula, Gabriela Reyes, of course, our wonderful authors, Charlotte Hilton Anderson. You know her and her husband and five kids and 3 pets, and, of course, her fantastic background. Thank you for a great understanding on ghosting. Really made me see it all too, because I had ghosted a lot of people as well too, but some of them were just narcissists, and just you don't know how they're going to react to that kind of situation. When you're in a situation like that, it's okay to do. And so now you know, take some notes, because you can always go back on these articles that we read from the Reader's Digest and get all the information you need to be much safer online, especially on the dating apps. It's 5:16. We're coming to the end of our program, and that means it's time for the motivation of the day. And, of course, Ralph Marston from The Daily Motivator is going to give us his daily motivation of the day. Each and every day in our program, he comes up with some of the most fantastic things to talk about that pretty much give you a sense of hope toward the end of the program. So let's go to the Daily Motivator right now. Let's open it up. And not November 3rd, but today's Daily Motivator today for Wednesday, January 17th, 2024 is live with yourself. In every choice you make, remember this: you always have to be able to live with yourself. Much of your activity can successfully disguise, distort, and completely hide from others, but you cannot escape your own knowledge of your thoughts and actions. What you do, what you decline to do, what you offer, what you compromise, what you withhold, all of it you live with. Every decision is a chance to make a decision that can sit well with you for the entirety of your life. That can seem ominous and threatening to ponder, yet in reality and in practice, it is highly empowering. And because holding yourself to your own highest standards pays off not just in the moment, it delivers a positive impact into the whole of your life that compounds in value with every subsequent good choice. Follow the course that most enduringly enables you to live with yourself. For you and all of those whose lives you touch, do your sincere best to make life well worth living. There you have it, friends. Another great show in the books. Episode 105 has come to an end tonight, and we thank you very much for your continued support of not only the David 3000 Network, but the DMS 3000 News Show, seen here every day at 4 o'clock going to 5:30. Please, if you have a chance and you got your voting form, vote for this show. Vote for me as a host of this show. I have to send it out, and if I send it out to my friends on Facebook, I hope, pray that they will vote for me, even if they have never seen this show. And I can't tell you how many times I have advertised our show here, not just on YouTube, but on every social media platform. So we are everywhere pretty much. You can find us mainly on YouTube, and we have a fantastic list of subscribers. If you have not subscribed to the David 3000 Network, please do. You'll get a lot of other great shows that are on this channel. Subscribe to my channels as well. I am on Facebook, very easy to find. And if you have any questions or anything that you need taken care of, drop us a line. We'll get those articles on there. If you can come up with a great lineup of articles for us, we'll cover them. If you feel like you want to add to the show, great. If you want to be on the show, you can also be on the show as well. We'll dedicate the whole show to you, an hour and a half, or you pick a time slot from anywhere from 30 minutes to the hour and 30. Either you want to be on for 30, an hour, or an hour and 30. You decide, and we'll have you on. Next week, Benjamin from the David 3000 Network and the award show will be on to talk about the deadline and the categories and how this all started next week on Tuesday's edition of DMS 3000 News. I'm Jason Icanio. Remember, be honest, be real, and keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. Have a great evening, and remember to check us always on YouTube for more great shows like this one. For now, good night.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Gary Dawson Network for more great content like this one.